Hey Hannah, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty well, pretty well. Just enjoying time outside. I know I wish I could do this podcast like in person, but I guess, best of what we got right now, right?
I mean, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, here, actually, hold on. I got it. Here, hold on. I'll be right back. I got a better idea. Hey, can I get two McChickens?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard originating flight to Mesa.
Hey guys, my name is Brian Blair. Welcome back to the Mind Composition Podcast. Yes, I did fly all the way from San Francisco to Arizona to do a podcast in person with my good friend Hannah. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Pretty well. Exhausted, jet lagged a little bit, but I'm just kidding. No,
That's understandable.
no. A 1 hour flight's not going to cause that. But
I
yeah.
mean, it's like what, 2 hours, and you also
One
did it
hour
around
and 15 minutes.
midnight.
I did it in midnight, and I'm only here for 24 hours, so
That's
I fly
true.
back in 12 hours actually. So
Yeah,
kind of
that's
crazy, but you know what?
hectic.
$60 round trip ticket, you can't beat that.
Can't beat it.
You just can't beat it. So yeah, but no, we're here in hot Gilbert, Arizona. It's so hot here. I literally walk
Yeah.
outside, you just get slapped with that good old-fashioned Arizona hot hug.
Right in the
Can't
face.
get over that. But yeah, I mean,
I've gotten a little bit more used to it now that I've been living here for a few months, so.
well, that's, yeah. I mean, I know. See, that I lived here for 3 months before, like, and you do get used to it, but like it's just like when you go
Yeah.
back and forth between like colder climates like San Francisco, and then you come back to Arizona, it's just like, okay, well, I got to readjust to
yeah.
this heat. It's dry here. It's not humid, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm dying again. So
Yeah, going from Oregon to here, and then like I recently went back to Oregon, and I was like, wow, it's really cold there. Like I never realized how cold it was there until I
Yeah.
went back, and I was like, I'm freezing.
Well, someone told me today actually when I was out at breakfast with my dad is, it's kind of like New York. When it's cold outside, you stay inside. When it's hot outside, you stay inside. 3 to 4 months out of the year, the rest is totally normal. So
Well, what
yeah.
I like about the climate here is like you pretty much stay inside during the summer, and then you go outside during the winter because it's perfect. It's 70s, it's 80s, it's beautiful weather. Whereas
Absolutely.
in Oregon, it was super cold, super dreary, really wet, and so it was like 8 months or something crazy out of the year where you would just stay inside because it was so cold and miserable. But now it's like the opposite. So there's that.
Yeah, I don't know. Growing up in the Bay Area my whole life, I mean, you're from South Bay, so you know the drill, but then you went all the way up to Oregon, so, and then all the way back down here. So you made this great
Yeah.
big triangle, so you better come back to the Bay next. That's going to complete and go full
I
circle.
know, right?
but-
I need to just complete that circle of life there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Alrighty, so the topic of the day is on appreciating the small moments in life. Now, I know that you're really good on this one because you live for the small moments, and I'm doing my
try.
best to live for the small moments. You clearly know that I fail at that, but in your opinion or in your definition, what is like a small moment in life to you? Like, what does that mean to you when somebody says, hey, slow down and appreciate the small moments in life?
I think the reason why we end up talking about this often is because, for one, our age difference, right? So as you get older, you realize that small moments to you are different, than
Yeah.
they were when you were 15, right?
Yeah.
Like when you were 15, it was probably like go on your phone or like, because it's like you probably didn't have a car. I mean, obviously you didn't have a car because the legal driving age is 16. So it's like you don't got nothing to do.
That'd be sus. Yeah.
You're walking everywhere. That would be sus.
I saw a video one time of a 12-year-old that hijacked a school bus.
Oh my
It
gosh.
drove it and crashed into a few cars. He eventually totaled the thing, and he was 12 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And it was like in
that's
some- it was
crazy.
some state in, like,
you'd
the
be surprised.
Southwest.
Like some 15-year-olds will get handed cars from their parents and then will like start driving them, and you're like,
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
dude, you have a permit.
You
What are
forgot.
doing?
You forgot I grew up in Marin, right? Everybody there is handed a Tesla, Mercedes, BMW. They just get their license. They're like, hey, I remember I went to school with a girl who had a $100,000 AMG Mercedes, right?
That's crazy.
And one winter afternoon, she rolls the car right in front of my house. And guess what happens 2 weeks later? She shows right up with a brand new
That's
$100,000 Mercedes.
insane.
They're
Oh
AMGs,
my
and these are
goodness.
like these are like sophomore, juniors in high school driving these 500
What?
horsepower bi-turbo cars. Like, you
Crazy.
don't need that much power.
It's
behind
daddy's
that.
money for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's
dude.
just
I
the
mean, 'cause
entitled area of
when
my
I
room.
got my first car, I wasn't even like handed it either. It was a '98 Contour, Ford Contour.
Dude. What?
It was so bad. It was so terrible. And I remember when I had enough money and I was able to buy a newer car, and I was just so fucking happy. I was like, thank the Lord I'm able to upgrade, because it was so miserable driving that piece of crap to school
Yeah.
and just being seen inside of it. But yeah, I guess, you know, back then, the little moments to me were like, oh, you know, being able to leave the house, you know, and just spending time with friends, because obviously, like I said, you're cooped up, you're,
Yeah.
you know, lonely, you're sad because of whatever teen depression you're in, and you don't have a car.
Some drama, like, oh no, my best friend's talking shit about me again.
Literally.
Like, okay.
Yeah,
there's more problems in
no
the world than that.
freedoms,
Like,
no, you know, liberties.
He doesn't like me back. Oh no.
God,
Oh God.
yeah.
There's 100,000.
Those little
other-
dipshits in
There's
high
100,000 other guys that are gonna break your heart in your lifetime.
I
Pick
swear,
one.
they're the
Like,
worst in high school too.
Oh, no, they're
the
little demons.
worst.
They're
Oh my
little
God, they're
demons.
little demons. Yes. So, you know, as I grew up and I got like my first car, that was like a huge, like small moment, I guess you could say, is to be able to just like drive. I would literally just get in the car, like when I first got it, my new one, that is. Even my old one, like I was just happy to have a fucking vehicle.
Yeah.
But I just remember like, you know, just going in my car, just feeling the wheel and being like, dude, this is freedom.
I still
like,
do that to this day.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yep.
mean, there's nothing better than freedom, you know? Having freedoms taken away from you is just, you know, it's atrocious. It's so terrible, and it's so hindering. And I think
Sounds like what's happening now in the world. Freedom's taken
Totally,
away. But yeah,
totally,
it's
yeah.
like, no, it's like you get that sense of like, wow, okay, this just happened. I just accomplished this, or I just got this. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I got my first car, it was a 2002 Pontiac GTO, and it was a V8. Okay, so it was like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
a big engine in that car, and I bought it $1,200 cash. Well, it was sold for $2,000 from a family friend. My dad helped me with the other, but I saved up, and I remember getting that car and driving it the first day. I was like, everything just goes away.
Yeah.
You could have the worst day ever, and then everything just fades. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
oh my God, like
Totally.
I'm free. I can do
Oh,
whatever.
yeah,
So I know
definitely.
exactly what you mean. And I used to like, you know, I used to walk outside in the garage and I would just like take pictures on the little iPhone 4 that I had and like just be like, oh my God, like this actually happened. Like I still actually recently did that when I got the Lexus. I was just like, red interior, dude. Like, oh my God,
Totally,
like I was
definitely.
freaking out.
And like you do so much in your car too. It's like not only does it mean freedom to like go wherever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah.
But you know, like I've cried in my car multiple times.
It holds a memory.
I've slept in my car. Like
Both
you know,
ways.
like camped in my car. You know, and I've you know just done so many things in my car, and like those moments, you know. Kind of circling back, those moments are amazing, even though it's like car related and it seems like small, but those are like, I
Yeah.
can remember some really great car moments that I've had, like just going down to LA and, you know, camping in my car and just
Yeah.
like driving around, waking up at the butt crack of dawn, literally when the sun like hits my window.
Just going wherever you
and just
want,
waking
whenever you
up
want,
and being
yeah.
like, let's go to the beach, let's like have fun. Those moments are awesome, which leads me to my next thing is, you know, just spending time with the people you care about, with those you
Exactly.
love,
In
your
car
friends, your
that you
family.
also love. Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah. Best feeling in the world. Getting the car
Period.
for the first time, going to pick up your best
Yes.
friends, and now it just double whammy right there.
No,
Like,
seriously, yeah.
No,
like,
I know you have those late night drives with someone you really care about. And I know you've done this, and I do it all the time.
We've done it together.
Yeah, no,
Late
exactly.
night drives. I know.
I'll pick someone up that I care about. It could be you, it could be my best friend Kinga, or anybody that I'll just be like, okay, I'm really attached to this person. I want to go have a deep talk, right?
Yeah,
I'll pick them
deep
up.
talks in the car. Oh my God, there's
Deep talks in the
no
car
better
at
therapy.
2 in the morning on the
No
back
better
roads
therapy.
stargazing. Like literally, I remember. I picked up my friend and we went to go get boba, and we just drove, and it was probably about an hour and a half drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We drove from Novato all the way out to like Point Reyes, and there was clear sky. One of the rare times at Point Reyes actually had no fog, no clouds,
Mm-hmm.
and we just opened the sunroof. And we just talked for like 2 or 3 hours,
Yes, the
stargazing,
sunroof.
music playing low key,
Yes.
and was just like talking. And like
Yes.
that to me, just like you can't beat that. You cannot, because that's just a completely different like world. You
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
have all your problems you're dealing with, you know, in your own life, right? But getting
Yeah.
in a car and just going and driving,
Oh, yeah.
even just driving, kind of just separates you from, you know, everything that's going on, gives you a chance to decompress and breathe, and
Mm-hmm.
you really appreciate, okay, you know, yeah, I have this, you know, sort of coping mechanism to separate myself from this and really just talk it out. Like, I don't know if you ever do this. I do it all the time. Even when I'm alone in the car, I have full-on conversations like this with
Right.
myself.
Oh, yeah,
I'll be
definitely.
like, I don't know what to do about this problem. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Ryan, like, oh gosh, this is such a big topic. Like, what do we do next? And I'll just be talking out loud.
I'll be
Sometimes I'll
looking like
scream in my own car.
I'll be looking like a whole ass crazy person. People will be like, "Who is she talking to?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Myself, okay."
I remember one time. I did this in broad daylight. I was just so wrapped up in thoughts. I was at a stoplight, and I had my windows down. I was just talking to myself, and I look over, and these two girls were just like, they were just looking at me. They were just like,
my
"Is this guy
God.
okay?" And I'm like, "Hi." Like,
No, I literally reply to myself. Like I'll be talking to myself and then replying back to myself. Like,
Yeah,
like
same.
I am two people.
Like a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you ever like.
That's so funny.
When I was younger, I had like this. This is so dumb, but I mean, it helped me a lot. I had this like actual imaginary figure of a miniature version of myself on
Oh
my
my
shoulder,
gosh, that's so
and then I
funny.
also had like an imaginary like
Like those little double
conference
angel.
room in my brain. Where I'd be like, all right, here's where conversations are taking place,
my gosh.
and this was when I was like 6, you know. I just,
Wow, really? When you were 6?
yeah, and I would just be imagining just like this entire meeting happening in my
That is
brain,
so
and then
funny.
like some dude up here would be like, "Oh, lift the right arm," and I'd just be like this, and be like, "Oh my God, there's people up there like controlling this." I know it sounds like I'm crazy, but
That
like,
is so funny. I would talk to myself in the mirror. Like I'd be talking to my reflection, you
Yeah.
know, and I'd be like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
got my
no.
reflection talked to. We're good.
yeah,
They'll
no,
talk
it's
back.
I got me and my imaginary friend. We can take on the world,
Yes,
my dude. So
exactly. I mean, the thing is, like when I was younger, you know, my teens and you know my early adulthood, I did like doing that kind of adventurous stuff more. And now that I'm older and I'm like nearing 25, I find that just having like a quiet space and some time to myself, maybe engaging in some self-love,
Yeah.
whether it be like a bath or like, seriously, like a little mask, for skincare, whether I just make myself something nice to eat, and I can just
Self-love.
enjoy it. Yeah, just, like
Self-love.
little things like that.
I go buy a pint of ice cream from Lucky's and eat the whole thing in my room while watching The Office.
I mean,
Self-love though, but
yeah,
again,
yeah. I mean, I'm dairy-free, gluten-free,
Yeah.
vegan, but yeah, that's the thing. Just doing little things like that to make myself happier and just to make life, honestly, a little bit
more.
easier.
Yeah, and like with small moments like that, I feel like with small moments like that, I feel like the memory or the thought that you're thinking of it is always attached to that moment. Like you ever think back, in your memory bank, so to speak, and you have these distinct memories that pop out so clear, more than the
yeah.
rest. Like for example, I don't know, this is gonna sound really weird, but I remember that when I went to like summer camps, like for my church, when I was younger or whatever, this is a really like kind of not really off topic, but it's like this memory stands out the most.
Yeah.
And we had this thing on a lake called the Blob. Do you know what that is?
The Blob, no.
Yeah, okay, so the Blob is basically a big air-filled sack that sits on a lake, and usually there's a diving board above it, right? You put one person at the end of it, and then you usually get a, healthy person to jump on the other end of it, and it launches you in the air, right?
Oh my gosh.
The moment I went up, I felt like, I love flying, right?
Yeah.
Like flying airplanes. Yeah, I do that. But I mean, like, I love like just the feeling of just like flying. So like cliff diving, or like
Right.
not cliff diving, but like cliff jumping in the
Yeah.
water. Just kind of like
The
big running,
adrenaline
jumping.
rush.
Exactly right. So I remember like going up into the air was that huge adrenaline rush. That memory is so clear to me. Over anything else, obviously, it's, talking about the Lord over that week-long camp. But that memory itself was so clear to me. It's just like that sense of like freedom.
Right.
Like, oh my God, I'm up. Adrenaline. I'm in like 20 feet above the air, and I just smack down into the water.
Yeah,
Like,
adrenaline can make you feel
Yeah.
so invincible,
Exactly.
It really makes you feel like you can do anything. And I used to be an adrenaline
So does
junkie for the
alcohol.
longest time. Oh God, I don't drink alcohol either. But the thing is,
I was like, yeah, you want to talk about feeling like if you do anything, just let's go a couple shots in right now. So.
but yeah, I used to be a huge adrenaline seeker. I went skydiving. I went waterfall hunting. Don't chase waterfalls, right? But I did it.
Yeah.
And I used to jump off rocks all the time. I used to swim in like really cold like waterfalls or really cold pools where I almost got hypothermia at one point.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was terrible. I've like hiked back, in the dark and really sketchy areas. Yeah, I mean, as far as adrenaline goes, like I was pretty crazy. I loved like rock climbing.
Yeah.
And just, doing all the cool stuff, surfing. But yeah, I would surf in like my bikini in like the Oregon coast, and the Oregon coast is really fucking cold. Like it's really cold.
You're basically up there.
Yeah.
Like, you're up there in
yeah.
Washington area. Like the further north you go, the more colder it gets. Like you obviously you've been to San Diego. You've
Yeah.
probably been to Mexico a few times. Like
I haven't been out of the country actually.
You- what?
Crazy. I
Wow.
know.
Okay.
I know.
Well, now I know
I
our
plan on
next
going
trip
to
is.
Mexico this year. I'm
Okay.
thinking like sometime over my winter
So
break.
so let's screw Tahoe at the end of the month. We're going to Mexico. Okay.
Mexico, I know. I really want to go to Rocky Point because I'm
I'm
so close to it. And everyone talks
You
about
could
it.
drive
so-
to Rocky Point from here. It'd probably be like 4 or 5 hours,
Yeah,
And
no,
from
it's really
Tucson, it's
close.
like 2 hours. It's not
Super
that bad.
close.
I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I would go with a bigger group of people, just of what's going on in the world right now, just to be safe. Mexico's not the safest place in the
I
world.
don't even know a group of people, to be honest. I'm like
Me and my imaginary friend.
Yeah, seriously. Like my friend group is small.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really do love those moments too, which I wouldn't quite say they're small moments to me. Like those moments where I'm adrenaline seeking, they're like big moments in my life,
When you
where I
when you-
conquered a fear or,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I did something big for myself, like skydiving, for instance. I
Yeah.
had this deathly fear of heights, and I told myself, I was like, I want to get over my fear of heights. And so I was like, I'm going to jump out of a plane.
I'm just gonna do it. Send
I'm just
it.
gonna fucking send it.
Full
But
send.
I really, really love the beach, and I know like a lot of people love the beach, but I like love the beach.
Oh, I know.
used to be obsessed with mermaids growing up. Like I had a weird obsession with mermaids, and so I
had a
thought.
crush on a mermaid growing up.
So I thought that I was a mermaid in another lifetime. I was like, I'm convinced I was a mermaid in another lifetime because I love them so much. And I don't know where I get this obsession
Yeah.
from. And so I loved anything like marine related, water related. I was a lifeguard for years. I was a swim instructor. So when I'm at the beach or near, honestly, any body of water for that matter, but I really do just love like the waves and whatnot. I just feel so happy, so serene. And that's saying a lot because I'm a very anxious person, you know? Like I have anxiety every day. Like no matter what,
Yeah.
like it's just, I'm anxious. And so when I'm at the beach, I find that I'm so much more calm. And I really just feel like I am coming back to like my natural roots, just as a human being in the earth. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we're one at
Yeah,
that moment.
connect
And
yourself.
so, yeah, I really feel connected to the earth when I'm just digging my toes into the sand, or if I'm just frolicking in the waves, or I'm swimming. Even if I'm getting like a mouthful of salt, it's just so, I don't know, it's just out of this world for me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? There's nothing really quite like it for me.
It's a different experience. for
Yeah,
you.
and so any moment that I can think of where I'm at the beach, especially if I'm with a loved one, like it's just the best memory. I can just literally, feel that memory. I can smell it, I can taste it, I can see it, and immediately I feel like a little warmer inside.
Yeah, that makes
so,
sense.
Yeah,
Oh, I love those, and I have a lot of those growing up.
you're like,
And-
oh, love those.
No, I mean, like, no, I see exactly what you're saying, and I feel like, for you, when you say small moments is really like on the timeline they're small, but the impact that they have, like I said earlier, like over the course of like an entire week at that summer camp, that
Yeah.
one moment stuck out the most.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it was 5 seconds out of the 5 or 6 day long trip,
Yeah.
it meant the most. So it's really a
Right.
big moment, even though on the
Right.
timeline it's small. And I feel like, just because something lasts a short amount of time, it doesn't mean that it has like less impact, based off
definitely
of
not.
how long it lasts.
And all your moments, all your memories create who you are today.
They tie up and they
Yeah.
create your traumas, but they also create your your good sides as well, and they help grow you. So like
Yeah.
that feeling
Whether
of
it's
freedom, like-
traumas, whether it's good times, it all makes you,
Yeah.
the person you are today. And I find it interesting how, like I was saying earlier, how our small moments, like the things that we appreciate, change over time.
Yeah.
Like maybe when you were 15, you would have thought like, oh, that's boring. Like I don't want to do that. That doesn't interest me. But now
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I love doing that. And this is like the
Exactly.
time where, I can really just appreciate life.
Yeah, exactly. And like, when you start to grow up, you start to realize that like, it's time starts to speed up. And, it starts to
really
move
does.
by really quick.
It's like as soon as you turn 21, it's like all over from there. It's all downhill.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'd say 25 is downhill. A good 20.
Wow.
I'd say
okay.
like I say, well, hey, no. You're good. But I'm saying
Yeah.
like, you unless you peak in high school, you're gonna have a good solid early to mid 20s. You know, if
Yeah.
if you really have this type of mindset of appreciating the small moments,
Yeah.
instead of burning yourself into the ground. And I talked about that last week too, where you know you
Right.
burn out so many times,
Yeah.
you just feel like a numb robot, right? But if you like go in and create something known as a balance, then you're able to, you
And
know,
see, and that gets harder to create this balance as you age, and no one tells you that. No one really like
they
prepares
don't
you
teach
for
this
that.
in schools.
They don't, and not even your family. Like they can't truly prepare you. You have to go through it yourself and experience
Yeah.
it yourself to really fucking know.
100%.
Because the thing is, it's like as I was getting older, you know, when I turned 18, I was like, oh, cool, I'm an adult, you know. And then I turned 21, I was like, oh, I'm legal. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
But then you realize you're like, oh wow, like I can have less fun now. And I have more responsibilities now, and it seems like the older I get, the more responsibilities tack on, you know, because then you're like thinking of things like, oh, I got to buy a house, and I got to buy, you know, a new car, or you know, I got to make sure that I'm able to pay like all my bills, all
It's
the
very
plethora
easy
of bills.
to get wrapped down the rabbit hole of life,
Of adulthood.
You know, lifing as an adult, and then you
Yeah.
know not being able to appreciate what it was as a kid. You know, so kids are so innocent. You know, they're so they like 10 and true. You really are true when you're yourself as a kid because you have no
Yeah.
real not I don't want to use the word responsibilities, but you have no pressure. You know, as a kid, you're
Yeah.
living free. All right, you have nothing really weighing you down. You're just yourself. You don't have to worry about everything you just explained. You know, the truest point is when you're, you know, on the younger side.
You have a lot of time to be
Yeah.
creative, and really people just want you to express that creativity when you're young versus when you're older. People are like, oh, you know, there's no time for that. You just got to work. You just got to become successful and this
Yeah.
and that. And so it really creates less time for you to express yourself.
Yeah. See,
And
the thing
I
is
think-
like, is finding that balance to still hold true to yourself, to be, you know, what you are. Because
Right.
like, face facts, you and me, doesn't matter our age, 22, 24, we're children. We're like 12, both of us, and you know that. This morning, you freaking know that. So like, you know, we have our inner, you know, child selves, but like in this adult body, if that makes
Right.
sense. And like, you know, when you are growing up, and especially in our age, like, yeah, be productive, you know, aim for success, aim high, but at the same time, don't lose track of who you
Yeah.
are
And what makes you
do.
happy.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I've learned that one the hard way. It sucks, you know, but you know what? Better
Yeah.
late than never. I will say that. Better late than never.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, you know, don't get too caught up on like the whole notion of like you were able to be your true self as a kid, because you got to think your frontal lobe is still developing.
Yeah, we're still
you know,
both,
and usually you haven't hit puberty until 12, you know, around that
Yeah.
age. And so you still have all these developmental stages to go through. And so it's like you are technically, you know, your full self once you're in your 20s.
I
Because
just
you
mean
pretty
like
much.
the
But
innocence
I-
and the pureness of a child is
I mean,
so
I
true.
totally understand that. And the
Yeah.
thing is, though, a lot of people lose sight of the fact that, like, now that they've like fully matured, they can really just delve into like who they are as a person and what has like made them that way. But I feel like a lot of people are just distracted. You know,
Exactly.
They don't take those small moments to really just explore themselves and discover themselves and learn themselves. You know, which I think is so important, especially when you only have one life to live. It's like, what else are you gonna fucking do? You know what I'm saying? In this one lifetime that you get, like you should, you know what I'm saying? Do it now, or else you may never get the chance.
Yeah, life is so short, and taking hold of an opportunity now. See, here's another thing. Here's another aspect of this. Is like, you know, at least with my dad, he tells me to go to school, get a degree, get this, you know, which is nothing really wrong with that. But like, you know, he's saying like, oh, well, screw every other opportunity right now. Your degree is most important. All that
Right.
stuff will be there later. Well, really, no, they won't. It's actually the opposite. School will always be there, no matter what. But the
Yeah.
opportunities to really live and learn
Right.
and experience things aren't going to be there. They're going to move one way or the other. There may be
Yeah.
another thing coming up along, you know, later in life, but there's never going to be that exact thing that you may want to do.
Yeah.
That's where I'm feeling about traveling right now. I mean, maybe not right now, just due to what's going on worldly, but like, you know, the fact of traveling while I'm young, having that energy to go out and do the fun things, skydive, snowboard, you know, all of that stuff. I don't want to wait till I'm like 25 or 30. I want to be able to like, you know, I'm going to aim for my life to personally be, you know, traveling all the
Right.
time or as much as possible. But like,
See, what I don't understand is those people who, they always make an excuse to wait. You know, they're always like, oh, well, you know, I can just do it tomorrow. Or like, oh, I'll just do it next year. Or like, I have time.
no, you don't.
And they're like, oh, I'll just do it 5 years from now, you know, or like, oh, I don't need to do it right now. Like, I can wait. But it's like, okay,
That's an excuse.
it's a fine line. See, the thing is, like, yeah, okay, you don't have to be rushed and do everything like today, right now. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, don't be waiting and waiting and waiting for for it to fall into your lap or for it to just happen to you.
You have to
or,
work for it.
Right.
Like,
So
or
it's
you have
like,
to like work up to it, and
yeah,
you know.
because like people will be like, oh yeah, I'll go to Europe, you know, like at some point, you know, like I'll visit that country, or you know, or they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll go do that fun thing I've always wanted to try. Like yeah, at some point it'll come, like you know, and it's like you're for one, you don't sound sure, you know. For two, it's like you're not really setting in stone a date, you know, in a time. You don't sound confident.
Yeah.
And
You're not
so
like speaking it and manifesting it into
right,
existence.
right,
like,
exactly. So like those type of people who claim they want things to happen, but then also are like making no moves to make it happen. It makes no sense to me.
See,
I'm like,
that's like I've had so many people, so many close people in my life say, "Oh, I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to be an influencer. I want to be this and that." And they do absolutely nothing about it. Or even worse, they try to leech onto somebody who is doing something about it, and they try to ride their wave up.
Right.
Because like
Well,
it's easy to tell who's
yeah.
you know actually working for that to make that their lifestyle. And some people, guys and girls, will literally be like, "Well, that person's going there. He's wanting to do what I want to do, or she's wanting to do what I'm going to do.
Or you'll
I'm just
have
gonna,
those-
you know,
Yes,
buddy." And then
yes.
like, "Hey, now that you're doing this, how about we go together, right?" Not
or you'll
really.
have those complainers where they'll literally just complain and be like, you know, poor me, why me?
Victim
And
card.
then then
Yeah.
you try helping them, like saying, hey, like why don't you just try
And they
doing this?
refuse to help.
And then they refuse to help,
Yeah.
and not only that, but they're reluctant.
Yeah.
They're reluctant to try anything new. They're reluctant to learn anything new. And you're like, okay, look, if you're not going to take my help or suggestion, then why the hell are you complaining?
I've helped.
You know?
I've tried to help someone that was super close in my life countless times, countless fucking times, and
yeah.
the amount of times that I got pushed back, fired on, you know, and it would just I
And they
couldn't-
always have an excuse.
I would have no words. The fact that I would just get lashed out on for trying to help and be like, you know, I'd just be like, oh well, you know, you're too much. You're being too pushy
Too
or whatever. I'm like,
controlling, yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I'm actually working towards it and at the same time accomplishing what you want to do. So if you
not
don't
only
want my
that,
help,
not only
like,
that, but it's like if you were happy, like just sitting on the couch, like you
eating
know,
bonbons all day,
yeah,
Netflix,
or
yeah.
if you're just happy, like doing the same fucking routine you've been doing for years, like that's great, like cool. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're happy doing that, like who am I to judge, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, but if you're gonna be in my ear complaining,
Yep.
I'm gonna try to help you because you're in my ear complaining. You
You
know?
know what's so funny is I had a few people in my life try to take credit for things that I would work so hard to do, as far as like working towards that, and that's something I take very seriously because like anybody who knows me knows that I work my my fanny off every single day.
Yeah,
like I
definitely.
grind every single day because I got these bigger aspirations to accomplish in life, not just to get money, but just I want to travel.
Right.
I want to have that freedom feeling. All right, I want to appreciate those smaller moments. I want to have a collection. Just like this wall of jeans right here, I want to have a collection of these small moments adding up. I know they can't see
God,
that on the
this jean
cameras,
wall is
but
terrible.
you know, but still, you get the point there. Like, you know, but the way to do it is like, okay, well, for me to get those, you know, small collections of moments, those small moments that mean so much, I gotta,
Yeah.
you know, go out and make experiences. Well, how do I go make experiences?
Right.
I meet cool people. How do I
Yeah.
how do I meet people? I travel. How do I
know.
travel? I need to
Yes.
afford it. How can I
It's
afford
action.
it? Yeah,
It's action,
And
you
you
know?
gotta logistically boil
Yeah.
it down to be like, okay, if I want to do this, this needs to happen. Then this, then this. All right, but it boils down to like, okay, well, I need to travel. How do I
But
travel?
so many
Like,
people like make excuses as to why they can't, you know, put their words into action. They're like, well, I want to do this and I want to do that, but I can't do it because of this and I can't do it because of that. And there's all these obstacles in the way. And I'm like,
yeah.
but you're literally not taking even like one step towards that goal. You're just kind of like, oh, it'll happen when it'll happen. Or, oh, yeah, at some point, like I'll make it work.
And that's
or,
okay if you want to settle. And there's a lot of settlers out there that just, you know,
But
they
see, that's
just
the thing,
accept
it's
what
like-
comes there.
Yeah,
But,
there's a difference between settling and then also like acting like you're settling, but then also complaining about it. You know, like you're
Yeah.
complaining about your life. You're, you know, pitying me, you know, boo-hoo.
like
and
you're
it's
the
like,
reason why you are where you are is because
Right.
of what you do. So you can't get mad at anybody else because the reason why you are where you are is because
Right.
of what you've done for
And then
yourself.
When
So
I try to make a
change it.
suggestion and then they're like, oh, why are you telling me how to live my life? And I'm like, because you're obviously not able
Because you need help.
to manage your own life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
need-
like
you-
you're not happy. You've just told me that you're not happy. Like I don't know what else to do. Like I mean,
You
you
clearly
know?
need some aid or some guidance. You know, I wouldn't say someone to do it for you, but like, you know, someone who is at least already there or on the way there. It's like, you know, your relationships are our best teachers. You know that.
Right.
And you know, if you're in a relationship, no, I'm not saying exclusively. I'm saying like just friendship, any type of relationship, really, right?
Yeah.
And let's say that one person is going towards where you want to be or wanting to live a parallel life like you.
Right.
dude, work together.
Yeah.
Put your heads together and start to
Exactly.
making a game plan. Like me and my
Yep.
business partner, dude, we're gonna do life together. You and me are gonna do life together
Hell
because
yeah.
we're on very parallel
Paths.
lifestyles. And
Yeah.
we're working in different areas right now, but
Yep.
at the same time, they're all going to collide together.
And see,
And
that's
the beauty
that's
of
the
it.
thing. Like, you really have to look at your circle and see who you're surrounding yourself with, because you won't have those beautiful moments that you enjoy so much if you're surrounded by people who are going to hinder you and drag you to the bottom of the sea.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
need to
if
match your
you're going to
energy.
be dragging that heavy weight, that extra weight, like, you're just not going to get anywhere because you're going to be so caught up with trying to manage this person's life instead of your
Yeah.
own. You know? And so that's why, like, at the end of the day, those people who just complain and won't do anything for themselves.
They'll just say exactly where they are. And unfortunately, I mean, unless they don't want to really put in the work, to get there, they're
snip, snip, baby.
yeah, I don't know. I've cut off so many people because like they've tried to either take credit for things that I've done. Like I've had literally so many
Yeah.
people be like, "Oh, well, I gave you that idea, or I did this, or I did that." I'm like, "No, you didn't."
Gosh, that's
Like I helped you.
ridiculous.
I helped you do this. I'm be like, "No, you didn't. You know, you
Yeah.
may have fueled that idea, but you didn't actually give me the idea. I went out there, I shot this, I did the work,
That
I
is
put the
thievery.
thing together." Like,
Yeah.
I know there's going to be so many people out there that are like, "Oh, I gave you that idea to do the podcast. You fueled it. I already had the idea many times."
Yeah.
So like now it's like finally being done. I know there's going to be people like that,
I mean,
but
I
that's
helped
okay.
you with the name, but I'm not
Yeah.
out here like, oh, this is my
Speaking
podcast.
speaking of the name, so side note real quick. So originally the podcast was going to be called Rip the Band-Aid. However, it was already used and I found that out last minute. And it wasn't Rip the Band-Aid, it was Ripping the Band-Aid. Someone would have that name. Too similar, right? I could use the original one if I wanted to, but way too similar. So
Yeah.
I call this girl on FaceTime late at night. We are battling out names for what, like 30 minutes? I'm coming out with stupid names. She's
Oh,
coming
yeah.
out with names. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And then she comes up with, well, the mind composition. I'm like, why the mind composition? Because we're both photographers. Composition, right?
Yeah.
We're talking and speaking our mind.
Yeah.
We put that whole thing together. It's like, and I searched it up. It's not being used. It's currently available. I'm like, I'm
Yep.
going to, mind composition. So
Yep.
the name of this series is due to this woman right here. So honestly, like you have all the credit for that 100%. Like I know it's super last minute and you came up with it just like that. And I know I was stubborn about it. I was like, I don't know about that name. And then I was just like, okay, fine, Hannah, you win. So I guess that's a Scorpio
And it
versus
does
a
have
Leo
a
right now.
nice
Like,
ring to it, yes.
No, it's
I mean,
perfect. It's beautiful.
Yeah, our
Like-
Scorpio-Leo relationship really does just make magic happen.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome. And that's the thing. It's like, the fact that we're best friends and you being my best friend, like your accomplishments are my accomplishments. Like I would love
Yeah.
to see you thrive, And
Same
so,
for you as well. And the thing is,
Exactly.
more importantly that I'm looking forward to this is we're going to thrive together.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of close people, well, not a lot, but there are a few close people, I can count them on one hand, that I know I'm going to do life with, and you're one of those people.
Oh, definitely,
Even
yeah.
though that we have like, we're like going like this a little bit right now, kind of like diverging away, because you're working in nursing, I'm working in creative. I mean, we're both
Yeah.
working in like fields
I
full
mean,
time
I'm
differently.
a creative. I'm like a nurse.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're
But
doing all the things.
It's the differences that bring us closer together,
Yeah.
right? So you know that our life paths are going to collide back again, especially with other people in each other's lives
Yeah.
that we're close with. And I know that it's just going to be fantastic because, I'm super comfortable with you. I love you like a sister. I care about you so much. I would take a bullet for you and, the other
And when
people
we
in my life.
have
Like,
our families and like our children and stuff, like our children will be best friends.
I'm
and,
going to be Uncle Brian. I'm going
we'll
to be
do
the
family
dangerous one.
trips,
Yeah.
And it'll be so fun. Oh my God, I cannot wait for
I'm
that.
going to be known as like the terrorized uncle. Your children are going to be scared of me. I'm going to be running, chasing
Oh my
around
God.
like a Nerf
How do you
bullet.
think
like,
I'm going to be as an auntie? Like, I'm going to be scared.
You know what's so crazy is like I get it from my dad. So when I was younger, I know kind of off topic, but again, small moments. I appreciate this. You may not appreciate it, but I had Nerf guns growing up, right? We have a cat.
Oh no.
Put two and two together. My dad.
You're a terrible human being.
Not
That's
me.
it.
My dad would take small little Nerf pellets like this. They're small. They shoot like 10 feet. They don't do
Yeah.
any damage. And he would just chase the cat around and just do it. And just shoot him. Like not him, but like shoot like near him,
Oh,
right?
near him.
So this
I was
cat
like, no,
had
not the cat.
I come home one day and we find
like,
this
Dad?
bazooka, Nerf bazooka. It's a Nerf foam bullet about maybe a foot and a half or 2 feet long. We start shooting it not at the cat, but around the cat. And this cat was terrorized of it. And I'm like, I'm just thinking in my head right now, like,
That's a moment for the cat that the cat will never forget. It's like, I hate
oh no,
you
dude,
guys.
I know. Once he even sees us even going for it,
Yeah.
he runs and hides.
Speaking of moments, I'm like, that cat is terrorized now. It probably has PTSD.
Oh,
Thank you very
yeah,
much,
no, he
Brian.
actually got diagnosed at the nurse or at the vet with cat stress.
Poor thing, gosh.
No,
Someone
not-
come save
no,
this man's
that's-
cat.
no, he actually is not cat stressed. But they
Jeez.
did say that he is, on a little bit of the like energetic side, and they're saying that's due to like fueled stress or whatever. And I'm like, okay. Well, the point is like
Just
he's
traumatized your cat.
not injured, he's not traumatized, he's fine, he's loving, he's just like he's like you've met him before. Actually, no, you haven't.
Oh my god.
Well, you're gonna meet him in 2 weeks or 3 weeks when you come back
Yeah,
out. So,
yeah.
but the point is for that is like, hey, like when you have your kids and I come over, right, or you come over, guess who's gonna be chasing them around with that Nerf bullet?
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, you're
it's
terrible.
such small moments. Those kids are gonna remember that
Oh,
forever. I
should
promise.
I even let
dude.
you around my kids? Oh, no, I don't know now. I'm rethinking everything. But
Oh my God.
I was literally like, I'm literally already planning like future moments. I'm like, imagine like family ski trips. That would be so dope.
Family ski trips.
Oh my God.
Travel events to like Maldives, to like the tropical islands,
Yes.
sitting on the beach. You can
Beach
have your beach
or
obsession.
Snow. I'm like, count me in.
Collaborative photo shoot sessions.
Ooh, oh my god, we could do like little photos of our children together.
I know.
Do like cute
I
little
know.
portraits.
I'll be the better photographer.
Stop. Oh, shut up.
No, like that.
Stop.
Honestly, actually, we should
I just do
try
a little
that.
boudoir of our kids. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, those kids are definitely gonna be traumatized if you're doing that. Like, fuck the Nerf shit. That's gonna be like,
Child
hey, yeah,
pornography. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, dude.
No,
Oh,
no.
what a
but,
nice family photo. This isn't incest at all. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, but you know my work is Prime, so let's not.
Oh yeah, no.
Fronts.
I mean, I
Let's
think
not
that
fronts.
we should actually collab together on one person for a photo shoot. Like, I think that would
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
be good.
or-
Either or one of us shoots it, one of us
or-
edits, or vice versa.
Or we steal each other's photos and edit each other's photos. That'd be the simplest.
Down to make a YouTube video about that?
I mean, yeah.
Dude, A game. A game. That'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
great. So we got ideas for that. You could shoot it, I could edit, I could shoot, you could edit, or we just shoot both each other, swap on like collab shoot, edit
I
each
love how
other's.
we go from appreciating the small moments to like, okay, how can we create some art?
Well, but the point is like that what we just discussed is a small moment,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that'll take what 30 minutes out of a timeline, but that'll hold a huge value going
Oh,
down
yeah,
life. We'll look
definitely.
back at this 5 to 10 years from now and be like, hey, remember when we shot this
Oh, yeah.
this audio and recording in a lounge in Acadia in Phoenix, Arizona? Like,
Yeah.
remember stuff like that adds up, and it's gonna mean so much. So like. There's so much importance that has to be stressed on, like, at the same time striving to achieve your goals, but at the same time, really slowing down, take a step back to, slow down the speed up is actually
Taking
what it
the
is.
time out of life, to enjoy, friendship.
Yeah. Like, you're not
to
selfish
enjoy
to do that.
creativity. To enjoy things that you love, that you're passionate about. That's so, so, so important, and
Yeah.
people got to remember to do that. If not often, at least every now and then, because
Yeah.
people get so wrapped up in just the harshities of life and adulthood, and it can be extreme. It can
And
be
they just
harsh.
and they forget, what they're living for, and they just feel robotic when in reality, like they're
Yeah.
living to create those experiences.
And they
because
forget that they're a part of this universe. They're a part of this earth. They're a part of nature. And, they are a spirit, inside of a meat sack. You know what I'm saying? They're more
A bag
than
of
just,
bones.
Yeah, they're more than just some bones and some meat, like they have
Yeah.
a soul, and like they need to feed that soul. And it's
Yeah.
important because you can't feed your soul through, working yourself to the bone, or, not sleeping, or
You'll burn
eating
out.
shitty, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, take some time to fucking do what you love and to talk to yourself nicely.
How about wake
you know?
up instead of waking up going directly to the screen, and I'm still working on this one right now. Wake
Yeah.
up and go in the mirror and be like, hey, thank you for my health. Thank you for my wealth. Thank you
Gratitude.
for, everything else. Take
Yeah.
appreciation for what you have. What's so sad is like when I was flying out from the airport last night, so I have my phone set up to where it monitors my screen time. And before, my screen time was up at 9 hours. So I was like, okay, that's got to get capped. What took up the most screen time? Instagram, TikTok. So I limited those to 1 hour per day collectively. 30 minutes Instagram, 30 minutes TikTok. Only enough
Yeah.
time to go on and post and get off the app.
Yeah.
So my time limit ran out yesterday, and I'm just listening to music. I'm not even on my phone. I'm just chilling, right? And I just look around. Families are collected together like that, with the phone inches from their
Oh,
from their
God.
face.
When you go out to eat and they're literally eating like this.
There are
like,
literally 5-year-olds.
Like, what are you doing?
5-year-olds that are just,
God.
in they're
Yeah.
facing the screen, playing a game. Their parents are not even, they're right next to each
Yeah,
other.
that's
just,
become such a huge thing in this society nowadays, is that
Yeah.
like people will be giving their, under age 10
full-on
children,
iPhone.
you know, iPads and
Yeah.
iPhones and. You know, it's just like crazy. I'm like, so you're just basically gonna like stick a
You're
screen
gonna
in your
entitle
kid's
them.
face?
You're gonna entitle them.
Well, and not only entitle them, but also just like take away their childlike nature. Because then, you know, this kid is just stuck in front of the screen playing video games or whatever little games they're playing. And it's like, what happened to like going, you know,
Going to the park.
outside and
Yeah.
like, or like playing in the dirt, you know what I'm saying? Or playing with
Yeah.
your Barbies, you know, or reading a book, you know?
Going to the park, you know, getting a couple injuries, having a popsicle right after that. Dude, I remember when I was young, my mom took me to.
Oh my God, those little like,
Yeah,
what
those
were
little,
they?
God. It's on the tip of my tongue, dude. You know you're too.
Yes, those little pops, those little icicles.
Otter Pops.
Otter Pops, yes.
Otter Pops.
Yes.
Dude, so I love that because, you know, I didn't grow up with a phone. My first phone I was in 8th grade. It was an iPhone 4. I had an iPod Touch, you know, but that's not really a phone.
Dude, I had an iPod all throughout high school. I didn't have a phone.
Dang.
Yeah.
So my first phone wasn't actually an iPhone 4. It was in 6th grade. It was a flip phone.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
the
a Samsung.
flip.
It was a Samsung Flip, and my sister's was one of those where it splits sideways and you had the keyboard out of it.
Oh my God,
That was
yes.
our first phone.
I did have a phone in like, I believe it was 7th grade, but then I got it taken away 8th grade. So I think for middle school, I did have like that little flip phone with a little keyboard. And then my mom was like, no, I don't really like want to pay for it. So, you know, like you're on your own. And so I was like, well, I can't afford to like get a car plus like have a phone. So I literally just like stuck with an iPod until I was 18 years old.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it'd be like that, but then, you know, when you grow up like that, you learn to really appreciate what you have, you know, and what you're given, but not what you have lost or what you are desiring
And you
for.
appreciate what you acquire because you worked so hard to get it.
Exactly. Like, you know, that's the thing. And so many people, like when I was learning photography, so many people are like, oh, you just had your parents buy you your camera. You didn't earn any of that. Your
Right.
car, even to this day,
Yeah.
people are like, oh, your parents probably bought that for you. I'm like, no. Everything that has fueled my business over the past 5 to 6 years and fueled every bit of growth was all done myself. And I take pride and appreciate that like anybody should.
Right.
Because, you know, that's not easy to do.
No, I
Especially
remember-
someone who's young, going to
Yeah.
school, you know, dealing with all this. Someone who grew up in Marin, like
Yeah.
you are surrounded by the most entitled people in that county.
God, yeah.
Marin is great for the scenery, but the people are the worst. They're the most snobby, stuck-up, entitled
It's
brats
so
I've ever
difficult
met.
not to compare yourself to those people who do
Yeah.
get things handed to them because you're like, oh, I'm not doing enough or I don't have enough. And, you know, and they flaunt, you know, and they
Yeah.
act like they're all that and they're better than you. But
And these people, they feel like they lack that small moment appreciation because they are
Oh,
putting
yeah.
on this facade to try and make themselves, they're trying to fill a void, right?
But they won't know that feeling
Yeah.
of like acquiring something after so much hard work, you know,
I know.
how
Yeah.
amazing it feels.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember when I was 18, not only did I get a phone, but then I also got my first camera and my first laptop.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like I did all that
Yeah.
myself, you know, and that was just insane to me because I'd never had so many nice things at once.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, and I did that, and that's pretty cool. And then, you know, now I'm here.
Now it fuels you to, like, you know, push
Yeah.
harder and get to the next level.
Yeah,
like-
and it's crazy because
Yeah.
at 24 now I live like in a very nice, you know, area.
This is very nice. Acadia is
Yeah,
a
I live in a very nice
area.
place with, you know, I have a Lexus and I'm going to nursing school. I mean,
Yeah.
I've really just, I did that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, high five, high five.
Thank
you. You did a great job, especially from when I met you like what, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I remember
Yeah.
you were in the Ford Fiesta. You
Oh
were
my
with
God.
you were
The
with
Ford-
your
the Ford
sister.
Focus.
Yeah, you were with your sister China in the back, and our first shoot was on a swing on some mountain
Oh my
in
gosh,
Tiburon, and I was
yeah.
like.
I
I remember
remember-
first meeting you. I was like, I know when I literally remember like, because at the time, this is maybe news to you, all right? But this
Yeah.
you're now going to understand this for the first time ever, right? So when I first met you, or when you first reached out to me on Instagram, I was already fed up with people like, you know, trying to like pull photos from me or whatever, like
Right.
trying to like, you know, just collab and not do paid or
Yeah.
whatever. So I remember you asked me to do a collab, and I was just like, okay, if she wants to do a collab, I'm going to make this the most miserable photo session for her. I'm
Dude,
not going to
you
talk.
literally
I'm not going to
looked
be whatever.
so miserable. Oh my God.
Yeah,
like, I
I
remember
was
like
like-
pulling up, you know, because I was like kind of running like a tad bit like behind.
Yeah.
And so you were there before me, and I remember pulling up, and you literally.
just quiet.
You
I
were
was
just
just
like,
like-
you were just like sitting, I think like with your head back, like you just looked bored, you looked miserable. And then like you were the only other car in the lot. So I was like talking to my sister and I was like, I think that's him. And then we like looked over and you like look over and you just look like you want to kill us. Like you have hatred in your eyes. And I was like, oh, he looks mad. I was like, I don't know. Okay. And so I was like, well, let's do it, you know? And then it turned out to be like so much fun. And then we built like a long lasting relationship out of it.
A lifelong relationship that will outlast almost every other relationship in my life. It's right now literally down to you, Kinga, Caitlin, Brianna, and I want to say Grace Nagasawa, this other girl from LA. That's about it.
Yeah, and
That's
think about
it.
if you were to have been like, nah, bro, like I don't do collabs anymore, or like I'm not gonna collab with you. Like think about if you would have like rejected
about
me,
how that
we
would
wouldn't
have
be
been.
here right now.
I know. The
crazy.
mind comp wouldn't exist.
I
you
know.
And everything else, these memories wouldn't exist. And it's just like it's just crazy how like one thing leads to the next, and you know, again, relationships are our best teachers because with my relationship with you, you keep me grounded in a lot of ways. You know, a lot of my other friends out there, like, you know, they kind of fuel me to go out and, you know, do a lot. Like my business partner pushes me to do more, which is a great thing. You know, Caitlin, you know, fuels me to kind of just stay in the Lord, which is also another great thing. And like, you know, other people feel different things, but like you ground me so that I don't get too carried off in the wrong direction.
Oh yeah,
I've always
definitely.
noticed that every time I get so sporadic about something that's going wrong, I'll be like, Hannah, like, you know, you even said it last night too, like I'm like your therapist, or like or you're like my therapist, or like everything. You just like being the therapist friend.
Yeah,
you know,
I am
and
the
it,
therapy friend.
and not gonna lie, it did make me feel kind of bad because I was just like, well, shit, like she's the one taking all the heat from my problems. Like, where's her turn? Like, you know, like I want to take the heat from your problems. Like, you know, I don't.
Well, you have all the time in the world to be the therapist.
We have a whole
friend.
life. We have a whole life ahead of us. Like, you know, and
I mean, I could die tomorrow, but that's besides
you're
the
not
point.
gonna. I mean, no. I think you're gonna be fine. Just drink water and stop stressing your joints, and you know, stop thinking that you have arthritis. For God's sake, you're 24.
Hey, I was told that I might have arthritis. Okay, it's not
Arthritis, not arthritis.
Sorry, my
Arthritis.
pronunciation sucks. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, I.
Hey, appreciate the small moments before you die. So, you know.
That's true. That is true. I mean, I've definitely gotten comfortable with the fact that, you know, anyone can die at any moment. You just got to be comfortable with that fact because, for one, it's inevitable. For two, it's natural. And for three, nothing is guaranteed.
Well,
you know?
your physical body dies. Your soul never dies.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
your spirit never really dies. Especially when you're with the Lord, you're eternal. All right. Well, this is just all of this.
Yeah.
Everything on this planet's temporary.
Definitely.
The followers, the money, the riches, the materials, they're all gonna go
So
away.
temporary. Yeah.
They're gonna go away. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, you know, when people compare themselves to others and like they look at celebrities sometimes, they're like, oh, I wish I had what she had or he had, or, you know, oh, he's so famous and this and
And
that.
see, that's another
Like,
thing too. It kind of circles back to people who wait to have those good moments. It's like you aren't guaranteed another week. You're not
Yeah,
guaranteed
not at
another
all.
year. Like you're not guaranteed life.
You never
like,
know what the hell could happen.
Yeah, you
It's
could
just-
get hit by a car tomorrow, and that's the end of it.
Very
you know?
dark thoughts, but yeah.
Yeah,
true.
I mean,
Like-
totally. I'm very morbid. But if you were to die tomorrow, could you say with confidence that you have accomplished everything and that you've done everything that you wanted to
like
do?
live every day like it's your last, you know, what would you do? That would drastically
Would you have
change
any
your attitude.
regrets? Yeah.
No, not at all. You know, and that's how I feel like it, you know, it should be in a lot of ways. Like, don't hold back.
Don't
you
hold
know,
back,
don't
yeah.
always, you know, if it's going to benefit you and make you happy, do it. Like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, live with that attitude sometimes, like where, you know, things may be gone tomorrow, like, you know,
Right,
because
yeah.
you never know. And clearly in the past year and a half,
Because
like,
things may be gone tomorrow. Like you really
yeah.
don't know.
Clearly,
Yeah.
in the past year and a half, even almost recent as, you know, a week or two, you know, some things can be ripped from you and you never know what the hell could happen. It could all change drastically and go a different
Right.
direction. So like enjoying those moments now, you know, especially while you're young growing up, is a great mindset to grow into. So that way you're able to, you know, kind of keep chasing that same fulfillment of, you know, going after the experiences rather than the materials in life. Because think about it, if you take away like some celebrities' followers, their audience, their numbers, their money or whatever, what are they? They're another human being, just like us.
Oh, yeah.
You're just like us. And I remember like so many people would come up to me, well, not so many, but a decent amount would be like, oh, I look up to you, you're this, you're that, you're that. I'd be like, thanks, great, I appreciate the support. I'm glad I'm inspiring you, but never idolize me. Never look up to me as like a, you know, I want to be just like him. I want to, you know, I want to idolize this person or whatever. Like, because it never should be like that. You should only be yourself.
Like don't compare yourself to other people because the thing is, it's like they may be comparing themselves to you, but then you're comparing yourselves to others, you know? And we're all guilty of it, and everyone feels like they fall short of someone else, you know? But you gotta always remember there's gonna be someone prettier than you, there's gonna be someone smarter than you, and there's gonna be someone who's richer than you.
Yeah.
You know, there's always gonna be someone that's better than you in some aspect. And so you can't think about that. You can't keep looking at their yard and seeing if their grass is greener. You just gotta water your own grass.
Exactly. So when you actually really learn to appreciate the small moments, you know, and really understand to not compare yourself to somebody else and really just like live for yourself, like you will die tomorrow, you know, with that attitude, you know, then you'll really start to, you know, make real experiences, you know,
Right.
and not be afraid and not hold back.
Exactly.
So I
Make
think
those
that's-
moments and achieve those goals and,
Yeah.
you know, love yourself, you know, love others, spread
Absolutely.
kindness, spread compassion.
Spread kindness and, you know, just keep pushing forward no matter what.
Right.
Alrighty, so, all right, that's gonna wrap up today for this episode. Remember, guys, I have episodes releasing every Tuesday and every Friday. My name is Brian Blair, and this is Hannah again from Gilbert. And thank you guys for tuning in today. I will see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.